Key points. The day that I realized my parents were no longer my superheroes was the day I felt like an adult. Another key point. Unpacking your parents' childhood is a gift. I'm gonna just solve this Rubik's Cube while I tell y'all about the relationship with my parents. Now it's crazy that in adulthood I realized, wow, yep, my parents are just humans. And they had a childhood before me. And everything that happened in their childhood is influencing directly how they interact with me as another human being. I wasn't ready for that. I genuinely was not ready for that to be a thing. Because when you're a child, when I was a child, I used to think my parents knew everything. I used to think they could do no wrong. I used to think everything they did made sense. Was I sorely mistaken? And that's okay. Like, it's not to say that my parents are bad people or anything. It's just they're humans. They're imperfect, and that's okay. And that's not something that I think we give enough thought to. Where our parents, my parents, they wanted the best for me. They wanted me to do right by other people. They wanted me to learn how to be, a good person. So they taught me everything that they knew. Or they taught me everything that they felt I should know. But there were some gaps. There was certainly some gaps. There was certainly some things that they had never addressed with their own parents. There were certainly some things that they never thought that they needed to address with me as my parents. There were moments where it was like, how in the world are we supposed to raise this boy? I know there were. And they may not admit it. But some things they will admit. They'll be like, Darian, I have no idea what you were thinking when you did this, that, and the third. And I know that there are things that they just didn't know how to address. And I didn't know that they didn't know. So, in my understanding that, they know everything. Oh, crap. Yo, I threw my... Alright, so the couch is behind the camera. I threw my cube over the camera, thinking it was gonna land on the couch. It landed on the couch, and then it bounced off the couch. Alright, I'll fix it while we're here. But anyway, there were several things that my parents thought they were doing right by me, but they could have done it better. Or there were certain things that I did not do to connect with my parents, and I didn't know that, and my parents didn't know how to take it either. Like, they maybe just chalked it up to puberty, or maybe they just chalked it up to just me being a boy who was just hormonal and going through puberty and just not knowing how to do life. And that's okay. But as I age now, and I see like, my parents are no longer my superheroes, and that it's not that I don't love them anymore. I don't think that they're, dope human beings. Sometimes they be annoying, and I tell them that. And it's okay. It's good natured. But then some of it is they're not my superheroes anymore because they can't do everything for me anymore the way they used to. As a child, they needed to provide for me. They needed to keep food in my stomach, clothes on my back, a roof over my head. Like that was their responsibility that they chose, that they took that on when they decided to have kids. So I'm now at a point where I'm really understanding the layers of parenthood and the layers of the dimensions of the parent-child relationship. And understanding that I'm grateful to have grown up in a two-parent household. Like that was my childhood. I grew up and I'm thankful for that. I grew up in that and I'm thankful for it. Granted, understanding that my relationship with my mother and relationship with my father, they're two different things. And understanding that is perfectly okay. They do not have to be congruent. Like everything that I do and talk about with my mother isn't gonna necessarily happen with my father, and vice versa. And that's okay. I think the fundamental mistake that I made was thinking that my relationship with both my parents had to be the exact same. And when it wasn't the exact same, I would hold both of my parents to this unrealistic standard, or I would fault one parent for not doing something with me because I did it with the other. And it was like I was playing a comparison game subconsciously. It wasn't like I was taking down a tally sheet and saying, all right, well, they took me here, but they didn't take me. So that's 1 point for them and negative 1 point for them. I wasn't doing that at age 15. I wasn't even doing that at age 20. I'm still learning. Like, this is a constant learning process. And the more I learn, the more I just see my parents as human beings. And to be able to say that, and to be able to see that, because not everybody's parents, first of all, not everybody's parents are still alive. Not everybody's parents are in their lives, even if their parents are alive. So I'm just thankful for my relationship with my parents as it stands. And understanding that my parents had a childhood before me and a life before me is extremely crucial to me having a holistic view of them as humans, rather than just my mother and my father. Unfortunately, it took a while for me to put that together, but I'm glad that I was able to put it together before they went on to glory, before they kicked that bucket. I mean, we all gotta do it, so. But I'm glad that I'm now having breakthroughs with both my parents and like fortifying my individual relationships with each of them in a way that is unprecedented. We're talking about stuff and just unpacking so much that it is cathartic. It is groundbreaking. And I definitely would wish that on anybody and everybody. Like I wish more people could connect with their parents on a human to human level rather than just the parent to child relationship level. Because another thing that I've seen happen and that I've heard of from conversations with my own friends who are my age as well, that age range between like 21 to 26, where their parents still see them as children, and there's a wall there where certain conversations, certain topics are untouchable because the parents are unwilling to go there. And even though the kids want to go there, the kids need to go there to develop. the parents still like, who you think you talking to? What are you talking about? Where did you learn that from? You stay in a child's place. Well, I am your child, but I'm no longer a child. And I now need more emotional support, more psychological guidance, more feedback than I needed when I was 12, than I needed when I was 6, than I needed when I was 16. I now am craving more of a deeper connection with you as my parent, and you're not willing to go there. Now, it's important for the child to understand that the parent is not willing to go there because the parent, one, has never gone there. Like, they don't want to go there. Wherever there is, insert childhood traumatic incident here. Wherever there is, they don't want to go there because it's uncomfortable. It's genuinely jarring. It's difficult. It brings up emotional and psychological and physiological reactions that are just, don't go there. They also don't have a model for going there. They never went there with their parents, most likely. So they don't see the need for them to go there with their children. And that's okay. Like, that is okay as a foundational understanding. It's like, once you understand that, it's like, oh snap, that's why. Because they never did it with their parents, or their parents never told them about that, or because when they did try to do it with their parents, it didn't work out. So they just shunned it as a possibility with their own kids. Whew. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to come to terms with. And not everything is gonna happen overnight. Like, just because I watched a couple YouTube videos about emotional intelligence, that don't mean I'm gonna go and talk to my parents about it, and it's their first time hearing it, and then they're just gonna immediately grasp it the way I grasped it. All of that stuff takes time. Like, undoing relationship habits takes time. Because think about it. My parents were used to me being a certain way for 20 years. 20 plus years. Then let's say I get to age 23, I learn one new thing and I want to bring it to them. And they're like, where did you get that from? What's that? Wait, what? Think about this. They've already been living in one frame of mind, or like with their own conceptions of how life works, for 50 plus years. So me undoing 23 years of thinking in a certain way is completely different from them undoing 50 plus years of thinking a certain way. So when, as a child, as their child, who is now an adult, as their adult child, I bring something to them that shook my budding adult life. What do you think that's gonna do to their well-established 50-year-old adult life? It's gonna hit a wall initially. It's going to hit a wall. And that's important to understand. And I'm understanding that now, and I wish more people understood that. And to get over that wall, it just takes deliberate communication, intentional effort, time, and willingness. Just because I'm willing to go into deep, dark back of the basement of their childhood doesn't mean they're willing to do it at that particular moment in time. Just because I'm ready doesn't mean they're ready. So there is an element of grace and patience needs to be exercised, especially from the adult child, because the adult child is exuberant and ready to go, and it's like, I'm learning so much about life. That's me. I'm learning so much about life, and I want to teach everybody all the things. But it's like, bro, just because the teacher is ready doesn't mean the student is. Just because I want to teach somebody something doesn't mean they're ready to learn it. So, key points. The day that I realized my parents were no longer my superheroes was the day I felt like an adult. Another key point. Unpacking your parents' childhood is a gift for you as the adult child and for your parents. Now, I say it's a gift because it's something that is extremely precious and it should be cherished. And it's something that's honestly invaluable. Granted, as it is a precious gift, it involves a lot of difficult conversations. There will be some tears shed. There will be some arguments. There will be some awkward silences. But it's all worth it if it means strengthening the relationship between a parent and their child. So I'll leave you with this. Don't let your own dimensions distract you from your parents' dimensions that they developed, curated, and managed before you were born.